The Ready, Set, Grow podcast is sponsored by Ag Expert, software designed for Canadian agriculture. Visit them today at agexpert.ca.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Grow podcast, where we like to showcase startup and early stage companies, as well as visit with innovators in the agriculture and food industry. Today, we're here with Joe Dales, co-founder at RH Accelerator, and guest Lisa Klimstra, business engineering manager at CENGN, the Center of Excellence in Next Generation Networks. Lisa, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So my name is Lisa Klimstra, and I hail from Waterloo region. Quite proud of our very highly innovative region here. I do have a science background, but have always been interested in tech, formerly working at IBM as well. I did have an opportunity to use my university degree to sell hydrocarbon tackifier resins for Eastman Chemical for a number of years before I left the workforce to support raising my children for 8.5 years. I did re-enter the workforce about 5 years ago, working for a hardware design and development company that really specializes in designing multiple radios into devices with specific expertise in cellular, as many of their engineers come from BlackBerry and Apple and the like. Then I had the opportunity to join CENGN, and if you haven't heard me say it before, I love my job. I really, really do. One of my primary drivers in life is helping people, and I feel that I have an opportunity to help the small, medium enterprises that we work with every day in my role. So I really, really do enjoy my job here at CENGN.
Lisa, I think you and I have chatted in the past. You're from a farming background. Can you tell us a little bit about going way back and your experience there?
Well, certainly. So I can't claim I myself am a farmer, but I spent a lot of time on my grandparents' dairy farm growing up, just between Moncton and Listowel, Ontario, and I really, really treasured those times and the chores and so on in the barn. And it's going to sound completely bizarre, but in the spring when you smell the manure out, it really brings me back and makes me feel close to my grandparents. And I actually quite like that smell, which sounds completely ridiculous probably to anyone that's not a farmer. But I really treasured those times, and certainly agriculture is near and dear to my heart.
That's great. So a lot of people haven't heard of CENGN. Can you explain the organization and what their goals are and a few of the capabilities that they bring to the market?
Well, thank you for asking. Yes, you're correct. A lot of people haven't heard of us yet, so I'm really pleased to be on board to help spread the word about the CENGN and what we're doing to help accelerate the ICT sector in Canada and really make us more globally competitive. So the stream that I work with mostly is our commercial project stream, whereby we work with small, medium enterprises to help them overcome commercialization barriers. We do this by allowing no-cost access to our testbed infrastructure. We have quite a vast testbed infrastructure here in Canada. We have 4 data centers, in fact, as well as access to leverage our professional services team. They have a deep understanding in network technologies and cloud computing, and the expertise that they bring to our projects is really invaluable. The other stream really is through our CENGN Academy. So with this stream, we train students and professionals with respect to next generation network technologies. We do recognize there is a real talent shortage in Canada, and we really do try to fix this through our CENGN Academy, providing courses like Linux and Docker, Kubernetes, machine learning, and the like. To professionals along any stage in their career, offering these e-learning courses that are at their own pace to really upgrade their skills. And we're really excited actually to announce recently that we've partnered with the University of Ottawa to help deliver our training to their students for University of Ottawa credits through our CENGN Academy. So certainly we're pleased with that. Another initiative I'm really proud of is our CENGN internships. we take about 40 students and bring them through our internship program annually, taking these students from universities and academic institutions all across Canada. We're trying to bridge that gap between academic learning and workplace experience. And when they leave CENGN, they really do leave workforce ready. And I'm always so pleased with the professionalism that these students bring. And we treat them like professionals, and they rise to the occasion. And the growth that we see during their stay with us is so impressive. Many of them come back for second terms, and we've even employed some full-time, and it's really, really lovely to have them become part of our team. We also do offer professional services. So we have a lot of experience in containerization and virtualization to help provide testing and integration and optimization, as well as deployment services to very large enterprises, as well as government entities, and really any technology company that's on a path to native cloud transformation. And then, of course, as you're aware, when we gained our funding by the provincial government in 2018, they had this vision and clearly had identified 3 particular programs of interest that they wanted us to pay some particular attention to. So one, of course, is the work that my colleague Kirby Koster is really heavily involved in, and that's bringing about our northern and rural projects. So we're working on 7 projects of each type, northern and 7 rural, whereby we provide funding to technology and solution providers to help them to deploy and validate these novel solutions in these challenged communities. And with this, our goal really is to help support these communities that are challenged, but even more importantly, to then bring about some very powerful blueprints that are these broadband blueprints that can be repurposed across Canada in other similarly challenged communities. The government had also wanted us to look into the mining sector. So we have partnered with Norcat, which is a live mine up near Sudbury. And with that, our clients that have mine tech solutions have the opportunity to test their products in an actual mine environment against those harsh conditions for resiliency and robustness. And I know that you're aware of this next one, Joe, because I'm super keen and very excited about it. But we've most recently looked at the 3rd sector of interest that the government had wanted us to consider. And with this, we have actually started a partnership with DC Farms out of Kingsville, Ontario, near Leamington, to support our Greenhouse Living Lab initiative. And DC Farms, as you know, is a hydroponic vegetable greenhouse grower, growing tomatoes as well as mini eggplants. And through this initiative, our clients will have an opportunity to test their egg tech products in an actual greenhouse environment, as it's high temperature, high humidity in these environments. And not only to check for resilience and robustness of their product, but also to give them credibility when they go to sell in this space, as testing your product in the actual environment is important to their clients. These clients also will still have an opportunity to test the back end of their solutions in one of our data centers as well for scalability or optimizing their cloud costs and so on. So we're so pleased with this initiative. We have already completed many egg tech projects. We've worked with many clients, outside of our greenhouse partnership, that have prescription farming solutions, whereby they take a satellite and drone imagery, and they've wanted to check their solutions for scalability before they go to market with a large-scale deployment to make sure their system speed, accuracy, and reliability will continue to operate as they expect before they go to market. Also, some of them are looking to move from an on-prem server solution to a multi-tenanted cloud solution, so that they'll be able to scale more efficiently. So they will do that development work and then come to CENGN to really validate that all of their features work across all of the tenants at scale. While others have IoT devices, so perhaps they're looking to ensure that their LoRa-enabled moisture sensor sitting in the farmer's field can indeed transfer data across a LoRaWAN and be processed by their platform whilst merging in weather API appropriately. So we've done a number of projects already in the ag tech space, and I'm so excited about the opportunities at hand with our Greenhouse Living Lab.
Yeah, it sounds like some great projects that you're working on. If companies are interested in reaching out to CENGN, what types of companies are you looking for, and how can they do that?
That's a really great question. So I must say that our Next Generation Network program that was kicked off in 2018 has been so wildly successful. We've had an opportunity actually to engage with a number of companies out of the Roundhouse Accelerator and help them overcome commercialization barriers. But in saying this, our program, as it stands with the current funding, is nearly at capacity. So we don't have many spaces left available, but we are very optimistic about future funding. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can be reached at lisa.klimstra@cengn.ca or on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to receive messages there. And I really do encourage people to come forward with any ideas or discussions that they would like to have with me, and we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. We appreciate all your support. Lisa, we're always interested in encouraging young people to look at technology as a career. I wouldn't mind your feedback as how can we attract more women into this, high tech innovation space? Any thoughts there based on your experience and how you've onboarded into that sector?
Well, that's a really great question. I do think that many more women are now entering the sector, and I think honestly that retention is just as important as getting us here in the first place. As you know, technology is so fast-paced and quick-moving that I find when women have children, even that 1 year off maternity leave sometimes can be a challenge to get the women back into their role in the tech sector, as they feel fearful that they've missed so much, or so much has changed or advanced in their absence. So I think really supporting women and their needs in this environment is important. I think that if a young lady is interested, certainly just reach out to a mentor, male or female, and get advice. These are the skills I have. This is the role I would like to do. What skills am I missing? And then take steps toward that. I myself, wanting to work for CENGN, had a lot of training to do in the cloud computing space, and just take the steps. You'll learn the stuff and network like crazy. There's so many good opportunities to get out there and just put it out into the atmosphere what you would like to do, and fill your skills gaps. And really, it's all about making connections, because like for myself, even just getting back into the workforce after maternity leave, I was so grateful for the opportunity that someone granted me to get some more recent experience on my resume to get back in. So personally, I strive to try and help women, introduce them to other folks in my network that could help advance their careers, looking at their resumes and making recommendations. Or, in my role, I'm fortunate enough to meet a lot of people, and I love the opportunity to make connections. When I know certain companies I'm working with have a need for a particular type of person, and then I'm talking to someone else who's looking for that kind of role, is a great pleasure of mine to make those kind of connections. So I just encourage people to put themselves out there. I know that, as women, we're more likely to doubt ourselves than men, especially for applying for jobs. So just to bear that in mind, the man's going to apply. So just put your name in the hat and do your best, and make sure you study hard and fill your skills gaps.
Lisa, what are some of the trends that you're watching in the tech industry right now?
Oh, that's a great question. One thing I've noticed actually with respect to agriculture in particular has been through the course of this pandemic, a real opening for Canadian tech providers. Previously the gold standard has been anything from the Netherlands, but a resounding voice came from the greenhouse growers in Ontario throughout this pandemic. It doesn't need to be novel technology. It just needs to be Canadian made, because I'm having the hardest time getting my technology serviced and parts replaced when everything is supposed to come from the Netherlands and we're in this pandemic situation. So I think it's been a bit of a disruption, this pandemic, that has allowed for an opportunity for Canadian ag tech providers, which I find personally quite exciting. And I think we need to take advantage of that and really get some things to market here that are Canadian made. With respect to other trends and technologies, certainly machine learning and AI, nearly every client I'm working with is looking at incorporating those kinds of elements into their platforms to help with scalability and help reduce the reliance on consultants. I mean, you can only have so much manpower, but machine learning and algorithms can help you grow exponentially. So I'm certainly seeing a lot of introduction of that into my clients' platforms.
I wouldn't mind your thoughts too on, just kind of following up on those thoughts, just on the competitiveness of the innovation in Ontario, in this region. You're in Waterloo, which is a hotbed, and Toronto's a hotbed. But, can we compete with the best in the world?
I absolutely believe we can. I really do. There are so many great things happening. As you said, I'm from Waterloo region, and many of the ag tech solutions that we have tested through our CENGN have come through companies from this region. And we have the skills. We absolutely have the skills. We are a talented country. And I do think we can compete. Absolutely. We brought about the likes of companies like BlackBerry, and we're a contender.
Do you have any advice for companies sort of starting up in this tech area?
That's a great question. There's a lot of resources available. Certainly, we work very closely with our hubs, Communitech locally, as well as Mars and Invest Ottawa, and they have a lot of great resources available. And a lot of excellent networking opportunities. So I think one thing that's lovely about especially companies in our region is they're quite tightly knit, and ready to help and support one another through the experiences that they've been through. So I think, you're not an island. As much as this pandemic can make us feel isolated, there's always someone you can reach out to that's already been through that, whether it's getting investment or scale testing your solution, whatever it is, someone has already done it, and there are definitely people out there to support you. That's one thing I love about the RHA online network that you've provided. I think it's just awesome. It's just a great resource. Anyone that's struggling with anything can pop out a question to the community at your RH online, and then have some response and networking and collaboration and help. So I just think don't be fearful to reach out when you need help, because there's definitely help out there and resources.
Yeah, we've certainly done a lot of pivoting from face-to-face and in-person stuff to more virtual, things like the podcasts and, as you say, the RHA online site. Any last topics you want to talk about or share with our audience this morning?
I just, back to the women idea. I know a lot of women have been displaced through COVID out of necessity to help take care of the children that are home from school. So I just implore anyone that has a chance to help these women re-enter the workforce when they're able to do so. We certainly do add a lot of value to our employers as well as the economy as a whole. And I just encourage anyone to do, bless you, what they can to help get these women back into their careers.
Have you noticed any big changes over the last sort of year and a bit of COVID sort of in this sector? And do you think there's been sort of positive changes as well as negative?
I think that's a great question. I think there's definitely been a lot of positive changes. I know many people, just in general, were displaced from roles and have decided to take this time to really start their dream business. So I think there's a lot of innovation happening that otherwise might not have happened. So I would expect we'll see a lot of small, medium enterprises come out of this pandemic from people that decided to take a chance during this time and take the risk and this as an opportunity to really live their dream and bring their ideas to bear.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that. I know you mentioned it earlier, but how can people connect with you online?
Please reach out. Email's great, lisa.klimstra@cengn.ca, or feel free to look me up online, LinkedIn, Lisa Klimstra, and I would be most pleased to connect with you.
Awesome. And I just wanted to thank our listeners for tuning into the Ready, Set, Grow podcast today. And thank you again, Lisa, for joining us and sharing this great information.
It's always a pleasure to speak to you both, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.